Please consider liking the video and subscribing. Let's begin. With the recent release of Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire, it has everybody hyped up and excited for more kaiju content, and I'd say that this movie was a success. It has everything: awesome monster fighting scenes, great cinematic shots, and of course, insanely obvious ad placements. So after watching this movie, I began to think, what is the potential of the Monsterverse? Really, it's unlimited. They can go literally anywhere from this. They keep expanding and keep introducing new and exciting kaiju monsters for our heroes to fight. Well, in today's video, I want to speculate and predict the future of the Monsterverse. As you could probably guess, from here on out, there'll be some major spoilers for Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a fun watch. And if you have, well, what are we waiting for? Let's jump into Hollow Earth. First, I wanted to give the general consensus when it comes to this movie. Generally, this was a very liked movie. Like with all the Monsterverse films, people really like them. But you know who doesn't like them? Critics. They gave this movie a 55%, while the audience gave it a score of 93%, which makes it the highest rated Monsterverse movie of all time, and for good reason. Personally, I really like this movie. I'd say it's my favorite Monsterverse film, a title that was previously held by Godzilla vs. Kong, which is another really good movie too. But I think this movie focused more on the kaijus. The directors know that the fans aren't here for the humans, we're here for the monsters. Plus, with the introduction of this movie's villain, Scar King, a very hateful ape who wishes to take over the Earth and is no longer happy with being the king of a part of Hollow Earth. I think that this is one of the best villains in the Monsterverse. Aside from Mechagodzilla and Ghidorah, Scar King was well introduced, and they did a good job. We hate him, but we also kinda like him because of how mean he is. I'd say the only couple problems I had with this movie is that maybe Scar King could have been used more himself, instead of him relying on Shimu, another very cool character that has very powerful ice abilities and a very unique design. But other than that, I feel like also the kaiju fighting scenes should also be longer. I find myself smiling throughout the whole film. Like, this movie was well done. I really hope that the next installment can feel as fun and be visually appealing like this one. In terms of the fan reaction, of course mostly all the fans loved it. The memes from this film are hilarious, especially the scene where Kong grabs Zuko, perhaps the MVP of the movie, and uses him as a weapon against the other apes. Good times. The only problem people had was that there wasn't enough Godzilla in this film, which makes sense. I mean, it is a valid criticism. I feel like Godzilla, if he had come out more, then he would have appeared on Hollow Earth much quicker and killed both Scar King and Shimu, and the movie would have been over. So it kind of makes sense that they had to keep him on his own side quest. Nonetheless, really good movie overall. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Let me know down below what you guys think of the movie. Okay, let's get to the future of this franchise. Okay, so we all know that because of this movie's massive success, there will indeed be another installment. As to what that movie could be about is still up in the air. We know that the next movie will focus more on Godzilla, like how this movie focused on Kong. So an idea I had was, what if in the next film they introduce Space Godzilla, perhaps one of the most powerful Godzilla villains. Space Godzilla, a clone of Godzilla who was formed in a black hole, forming his iconic crystal sticking out of his shoulders, bent on killing Godzilla and Earth. I think having a villain like this would certainly make people extremely excited. The movie could be called Godzilla x Kong Cosmic Destruction. I don't know, something crazy like that. The movie would go into the world questioning if Godzilla means harm or good. Since Space Godzilla is destroying countries, it's up to Godzilla and Kong. And in this film, we can see Kong with his new army of apes and fight alongside with Shimu. Space Godzilla would absolutely give Godzilla a run for his money. The people of Earth must evacuate because the fight has gotten that big. Some people would go into space to avoid the battle. Others would be transported to Hollow Earth, leaving the surface of the Earth for the fight between Godzilla and Space Godzilla. At the climax of the film, Godzilla is about to be killed. Space Godzilla would barely be defeated by Kong, Mothra, Shimu, and the rest of the Kong army, just barely stopping Space Godzilla. This movie could leave long-lasting effects on the rest of the Monsterverse. With a giant portion of the planet being destroyed and heavily filled with radiation, it could open the door for future problems later down the line. That's my idea for a sequel to this film, but in terms of the entire Monsterverse, there's a mixed debate. Some people would love if this franchise could stretch out as long as the MCU is. Others like to see this go for maybe 3 to 4 more movies. Personally, I want this to drag out because, I want it to have a nice ending. They could also do so many spin-off shows. An idea that I saw on the Godzilla Reddit that I wanted to expand on is this one. A series where someone at Monarch gathers a bunch of D-tier titans to take on a big threat while Godzilla is missing. A ragtag kaiju team, kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy or Suicide Squad. So I wanted to expand on this. An idea I had was, let's say that Godzilla was heavily hurt and needed a lot of time to recover from his battle with Space Godzilla. There was no one else. Same thing with Kong. With Earth missing its king kaiju, Kong would take on the role, first defending Hollow Earth since that's his territory. The upper surface would have no one. With countless evil kaijus popping up, it's time for a group of Monarch employees to find potential kaijus to help. That's and a lot of other characters being introduced, but most importantly, the focus would be on 2 of them, Anguirus and Mogira. Anguirus is not an evil kaiju, plus he's a fan favorite. With his simple yet very cool design, I'd say maybe make him a little taller, but I for sure would love to see him in the Monsterverse. Plus, with Mogira, a giant robotic mech who's not evil like Mechagodzilla, that possesses a lot of cool abilities like laser eyes and missiles, basically a kaiju killing machine. These two can certainly make for an interesting duo. Since these two characters aren't known to the general audiences of Godzilla, a series can give those people a chance to get to know them, and if they end up liking them, then that success can be taken to the big screen. Another idea I had for a show could be where we explore the other kaijus that were introduced in King of the Monsters. We know that one of them is dead, R.I.P. Scylla, but perhaps one of the more interesting ones, Behemoth, a giant elephant kaiju who appeared at the end of Godzilla King of the Monsters, bowing to Godzilla. Even Rodan, who ultimately gave in. Where's he at now? Finally, a series I think that can be done is that it could lead to the next film, one where we follow Apex Cybernetics, a corporation that couldn't succeed in their mission to control or kill all kaijus on Earth and free humanity from the worries and destruction that kaijus cause. With this new plan, they get what remains of King Ghidorah, which is barely anything, and Mechagodzilla. Since Apex Cybernetics couldn't win with one powerful cybernetic kaiju, then two will get the job done. This show would follow a new corporation that has that in mind. We would follow the underworld and creation of both Mecha King Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla version 2.0. The series ends with these two being made and sets up for the next film, Godzilla and Kong versus Mechagodzilla and Mecha King Ghidorah. If any of you have any ideas as to what spin-off shows can be made, please write it down below. So what type of movie? How do you possibly end the Monsterverse? How do you conclude the entire franchise? Well, here's some speculation I had. For this last movie, it could be the introduction of Monster X, but with a twist. Quickly, if you don't know, Monster X is originally from space and is insanely strong, possessing many abilities and being stronger than Godzilla. He would certainly fit as a final villain to the franchise, but like I said, a twist here could be where Monster X was sent by the Vortark, an advanced alien species that conquers worlds. Using Monster X, they sent him to kill kaijus on Earth. Of course, Godzilla and Kong aren't going to let that happen, so in the Monsterverse, Monster X would have the ability to shapeshift into any kaiju that its enemies have faced. We would see the return of all the previous enemies our heroes have faced. This would also be a little reference to the fact that Monster X's true form is Kaiser Ghidorah. The title for this movie could be Godzilla and Kong Monster X. This would be the end of the Monsterverse. It could end with Godzilla sacrificing himself to kill Monster X, and Kong would be the sole protector of Earth, carrying on his best friend's legacy. Now, I want to throw this last outlandish prediction because I know it's not going to happen, but let's say that they end the franchise in just a crazy way. Godzilla, Kong, destroy all monsters. We are introduced to Gigan, the return of Mechagodzilla, Mecha King Ghidorah, Mecha King Kong. This movie would literally not have any humans, just monsters fighting each other till the death on Skull Island or in space. It doesn't matter, anywhere. I know that's never going to happen, but if it does, I just wanted to throw it out there. I want to say thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking the video and subscribing. Once again, thank you for all the amazing support on the channel. If you have any ideas for what the future of the Monsterverse could be, or what movies you'd like to see, villains, or other kaijus, please write it down below. Please take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.